Guys, Thursday, back at the lab, installing HGT Precision Sequential Gearbox in the March today. I know, Abby's screaming out she's lonely. Other reasons why that's happening today. The other reasons are we need to make the March mobile to get it out of the way. She's too hard to push around our property, so let's make it move, and then we can get Abby on the hoist and do other things with Abby. So we need to figure out, well, I've pretty much figured it out, right? This is the reverse lever. So you put the other lever, the main gear lever, neutral, click, 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 whatever comes up on your dash, using the potentiometer that's on there, tells you you're in neutral. You'll figure it out anyway. You let the clutch out and you don't move. Then pull on the lever. I think there's a safety latch on the HGT Precision branded gear lever that I think we've just organised getting one of those actually. You flick the latch out of the way and you pull the lever, and that pulls on this cable, which is set up on a bracket on the side here, and a attachment, I think it's probably that one there, is on the end of the lever, and that pulls the lever. Now we're in reverse, and I'm pretty sure there'll be a latch to hold that lever so that you stay in reverse when you let the lever go, to use two hands on the steering wheel if you've got heavy steering. Now that's all very well and good in a car where that's the front of the car, that's where the motor is, and your gear shifter and everything is back here somewhere, and so your cable, forward of there, isn't it? It runs forward of there and it comes around, comes back to your gear lever. In this car, we're all backwards, everything's around the other way, and we've got a transmission tunnel which is very, very, very close to here because of the driver's seat position. We don't have the room really to run this bracket on the side here, and this out here, this one especially, will crash against the tin work on the transmission tunnel, which would require some tomfoolery and fiddling around with, but we could make that work. However, I've come up with another plan. We've got a cross member down here, we can put a bracket on there, we can put our cable here and attach it onto that somehow. I'll figure that out soon, or even make a new lever. That's real simple to make one of those, and then we can run that straight up through the top of the transmission tunnel onto our gear lever assembly, which will be here. This one here, we just need to reverse it, so when you pull the lever it needs to push the lever in effect, because the car's all backwards, right? So all we do is we take this off and we put it up the other way, and then we have the standard lever here. When we pull that back to change up a gear, it will push that way, which will change it up a gear. Otherwise the gear lever would be backwards, so you'd be driving it and you'd be pushing it forward to change up a gear, and that's not good. Not good. You would get used to it, I suppose, but if somebody else who didn't know that it was set up that way, or wasn't used to it, and got into it and drove it and forgot that it was that way, you'd probably explode the engine, changing down instead of up. Kaboom. Okay, let's have a look at that. No, wait, I forgot something. Let's have a look at something else first. I changed the temperature sensor. This one damaged in transit or something like that, not sure. Remembering this is a pre-loved gearbox. That one was busted off, so, and it had an adapter for it. It's fine, and we were supplied with a new sensor, so that's now fitted into there. That's all good, that's taken care of. Original clutch slave cylinder removed. Fittings for the ends of the hose and the banjo bolt and all that sort of stuff, which isn't going to work with the new setup. Remove bags with some new things attached to. So that's all plumbed up in here. This is too long, it needs to be shortened. This is going to be the bleeder one. So you have one line that goes in, that's this one. This is where your pressure comes in and out to make the piston go in and out to control your clutch. But you need a bleeder as well, and that needs to go to the top. So this is all set up so the other line comes out of here, goes to somewhere. That's heaps of line. I can put this almost anywhere in the car, and we'll put our bleeder on the end of that. I may change this fitting, may put a firewall fitting and a bracket and all that sort of stuff, so it's all nice and held somehow. And this probably needs to go up. Be easier to have it up in the engine bay there somewhere rather than underneath the car here, but for now it's just going to kick around here while we put the gearbox back in. Make sure that works properly, get that all set up, then we'll do this gear levery type stuff and things. Then it all has to come apart again. Get some paint in here, get some brackets all done for our hoses, etc. Our battery cable that's just chilling out, that would do about 50 meters on the race. Actually, it wouldn't get off the trailer, it'd get ripped off. The clutch slave cylinder that you see it, oh, I said it again, up in there, it's got those little ears out the sides of it. Those are to stop the assembly trying to rotate on the snout of the gearbox. They go onto these dowels or pegs. They're actually special screws. And you've got to have the slave cylinder inside the bell housing like that, because the fittings won't come past the locating boss, I'm going to call it, in the center of the bell housing there. That's pretty much standard for all gearboxes of this style. So that the slave cylinder lives in here, just kicking around in the general position. You've then got to offer up the gearbox and manipulate everything to get the slave cylinder onto here in the correct position. That's why they give us a hole, a window in the bell housing to have a look and see what's going on in there. Maybe get your screwdriver in there and give it a little flick and all that sort of carry on. So I'm not going to try and do that while I've got one hand on the phone. Right, let's get that in there, hopefully. That went really, really smoothly. Actually really good, even with my multiple shims stacked up here, which we will replace with one singular shim soon enough. I'll wait till we're probably in level 2 so I can simply take one into a place that I use and get a shim laser cut, and it'll be really simple to organise. A bit harder if we have to use couriers and emails and all that sort of carry on. So what I'm going to do is put the bleeder in here, bleed up the clutch and make sure that is functioning correctly. We can't really see up in here. I can see it definitely has clearance. We can't see inside the clutch cage to check the bearing against the fingers, but I can see the slave cylinder against the gearbox snout and see that there is air in between those, has clearance, but I want to make sure we've got the correct travels and all that sort of carry on, and that everything's going to work before we get too far down the track and something silly happens, like I have to run much thicker shims and a different slave cylinder because I've modified that and it might not work, and then we might have to shift the end of the gearbox, and then if we go to getting the drive shaft made and run out of adjustment and that and have to get redone and all that. So we want to suss that out, get that right, and then we'll move on to all the rest of this stuff. There's not a whole lot that remains 100% stock with this thing. Even the brake bleeder being used into the AN3, I think it is, hose end. I've shortened the flare up on the end of that so that we have more threads in contact, because it was only biting by about 2 turns, which might have been enough, but I wasn't happy with it. So we should have 3 or 4 turns on there now, which that'll be fine. Just like that. That goes in there. Crank those 2 up. Crank it undone, and you've got your bleed line open. Like I said, I'll pass that through to the top. Actually, while we're setting things up right now, and while I haven't finished the car yet, and there's some holes right there that go through into the cabin, I'll be able to bleed that up from the driver's seat. Awesomeness. Yeah, those paper towels on the floor tell a story. Full-blown disaster. It's got a leak. I didn't tighten the fitting up enough by the looks of it. Whoopsie. So back out it comes. But everything was looking good. It did bleed up nicely. We did have, I thought, reasonable pedal travel, but I could hear fluid on the ground. Checked. Yep, my bad. Take it out. Have a look. Fix it. Jeebus. Big blowout with the time again. We're after 6 o'clock now. Who knows how long it'll take to upload this one. But I sorted out the leak. Totally my bad. It was a fitting that was not tight. And it was a bit tricky to get to in situ, I believe. No, that pedal's no good. I've run out of fluid. I've tried to bleed it up as best as I can get it. I've got our fitting there, wrapped it up in paper towel in case she leaks. I've run out of fluid and I can't bleed the damn thing up now to try it, so it'll have to be tomorrow. Right, cheers, boy. Oh, wait. Wait. This is well engineered, isn't it, this episode? What a disaster. Never mind. Over here, look at that! Those numbers mean 130 diameter, and that's 7075. Aluminium. Billet aluminium. And we're going to make, or someone's going to make, I'm not sure if I'll do it. My gear might not quite be up to it. We're going to make those flanges that we need for our transfer box. One for each of the back side of the transfer box, and one for the output flange on the gearbox, and that'll convert us to the Porsche 930 size CV joints, and we'll be away laughing. These things are so much lighter than they would be if they were steel. Good. Expensive, but good. Oh, wait! I took the dregs out of the bottle that I'd used to bleed it into the master cylinder. Rough, I know. We've got a clutch pedal that works. Feels pretty good. I have to check the travels, and realistically I need another person to do that, and it's dinner time, so wifey won't be helping with that. So that's us. Alright, cheers guys, bye.